What's up, everybody? This is James Rogers here, part of Team Underdogs, and Josh filming today.
In the back.
So we got a special deck profile for you guys. We did the regional in West Allis Sunday. Yep. 249 people there, if I remember right. A lot of good players, a lot of different decks out there. So it wasn't fully just meta, just a mix of everything. We got a top 16 profile for you guys today on the Metalfoes. Finished in 13th place, going X2. My only losses was round 1 and round 8 to ABCs. And the round 8 match was actually against a good friend of ours, Oscar, who been playing this deck for a long ass time. Probably one of the best ABC players in our area, to be honest. And had him round 8 and lost in 3, but it was still a very, very fun match. Honestly, with this deck, I took it apart after the Tinley Park Regional, only because I felt like I needed something better than Infinity to work with. So I tried the Abyss Actors. I tried a more pure with no Klee, no Gofu, just no engine whatsoever besides Magic Spectre, Luster, Rescue Rabbit. And honestly, the day of the tournament, we found another Nova that we were looking for, and ultimately decided just to play the Klee version because it was the version I was most comfortable with, and we just kind of tweaked the extra in the side deck a bit. So card for card, main deck between the two regionals, just only difference is just one card out of the extra and a few cards out of the side. So we'll get into this deck profile for everybody. So I was playing 3 of the Stealing, 3 of the Silvered, 3 of the Gold Driver, 3 of the Volflame, and only 2 Bismugear. I played only 2 of this because this isn't a card I really like to open up in my hand very much. And if I open up more than one of these, it actually deadens the hand quite a bit. And it forces you to really use one from your hand as far as like a fusion bait when you really just kind of want to pendulum out and then make your plays that way. So if I could open up all the other Metalfoes and then search into him so I could actually have his effect in end phase, that was the most optimal player for me. I just didn't want to open him in my opening hand. I wanted to see all the other ones but him. And it worked out pretty well the entire tournament. So I was playing 14 instead of 15, like everybody else. Next 3 Archfiend Eccentric, probably like the best card that I had. Second best actually. This card just did a lot, both to my opponent and for me. Blowing up my combination or blowing up one of their cards. I actually hit a Solemn Warning game 3 round 6 against Heroes to pretty much just overpower his Dark Law. It just ended up being really, really good. 3 Bambuku, 1 Nikomata, 1 Kirin. Nikomata is just necessary. It's a low scale. It gives you access to another Bambuku at the end phase, so you can next turn go into Kirin. Kirin I didn't use a lot. I really wanted to avoid using him and only use him if it was necessary. And a lot of times he really wasn't necessary, but when you actually did get him, he just provided a presence that was just really hard to overcome. The 1 Scout, the 1 Monolith. Shout out to Thomas for letting me borrow this for one more regional so I could play the Clifford variant. It ended up being the right decision to going back to this deck. The 1 Luster Dragon, 1 Rescue Rabbit. This card was the best card the entire tournament. Whenever I needed a card, whether it be a monster or a scale, he popped up, got me out of every situation that I could think of. And this card was literally like MVP all tournament. It was the best monster. And 2 Maxi. So everyone knows I don't like main decking this, but I knew going to the regionals, this was a card that needed to be main decked. So, and then with DDD being there, which I didn't play at this regional, so I guess I'm actually happy about that. I didn't play him, but I didn't play Paleozoic either. This card just put in a lot of work against other decks, even in the round 7 mirror match against the Klee Metalfoes. That's for monsters. It's 28 monsters. For the spells, 2 Painful and 2 Summoner Arts. Didn't see this a lot, but saw this a ton. This just got me to my Scout plays, my Clifford plays. Ended up being just a very good synergetic card to have. Oops. 1 Raigeki. Only saw this a lot during round 7. In fact, actually round 7, I saw this game 1, 2, and 3, and this helped me out game 2 and 3 to get the win. Nobody was main decking this, so I felt like I had advantage just by doing that. If I was going second, it was just an absolute phenomenal card. 2 MST. MST is good if you have Archfiend Eccentric with it, because I like to use Archfiend Eccentric on my cards, and then I can MST away my opponent's cards. Because I didn't want to use them both for whatever I was doing. They just work so well together. And if you get them both, like one for you, one for them, and this helped me get out of anti-spell triggers a lot when it was opened up against me. The one Metalfoes fusion, the one full Metalfoes fusion, the one combination, and the one counter. One of each was fine. I never felt like I needed to play 2 more of any one of these. It's pretty standard. If I ever had to bump any of them to 2, it probably would be either full Metalfoes fusion or counter, because counter was actually really good for this tournament. I resolved it a lot, actually. And then my favorite trap, they got Twin Twisted a couple times. One Vanity's Emptiness. This card is actually just busted. This is one of the best traps in the game behind Solemn Strike and Dimension Barrier. I'll definitely say that. So the main deck is 40 cards. Go to extra deck. 3 Mithrilium, still standard from the last regional. This probably is never going to change unless they decide to try and hit this, which I don't think they're going to do. 1 Alcahest and 1 Orichalc. The only difference between this regional and the last regional is I took Adamante out. Adamante was just useless if you don't play Gofu, and I never felt like I needed one more copy of either of these. So playing the 5 fusions actually just ended up being, I felt like, the right decision. Mithrilium, you pretty much want to play 3 of. You use its effect to special summon a lot, and then Alcahest and Orichalc are just really just for certain situations to help you get out of problems, and you can usually work yourself out of a lot of stuff. So instead of Adamante, I decided to go play this card, the Grand Pulse. And I probably should have played Castell instead, because Castell would have had more of a purpose at the regional than this. I didn't make this one time, and I'm kind of mad about it, but I felt like destroying versus giving your opponent another chance to actually play in the card, any like floodgate or problem card that would hurt me, I felt like it was better just to destroy it and then not let him get it back later on. So I just never had it to play it. This, however, I think I made like almost every duel. Totem Bird was like absolutely the best. It just caused so many problems for my opponents and forced them to really kaiju this away if they ever had it. And if I had this in a Kieran, and ultimately like the guy in that situation really needed to get rid of this over Kieran because he needed to activate like his spells and traps to really just make interest to do stuff. And in the end, like because he didn't kaiju the Kieran, like he just ended up losing pretty bad. And then the one Breaksword. Never made this either, which is kind of surprising because every tournament I go to, I usually make this card at least half the times, and didn't make it once. Totem Bird was honestly the only rank 3 that I actually made the entire time. So for the rank 4s, one Dweller. Could have been a Castell, but I really needed something to affect graveyard control, especially against Paleozoics. This card is like really good against them. One Kergorgan, another card that's good against Paleozoics, but didn't play it. And I played one Mirror Match, but didn't actually need it. So these were just kind of dead the entire time. I did make Utopia and Utopia Lightning a good number of times, actually. Just stole wins all the time. The card's just really good. But, shout out to Kyle for letting me borrow these two, because these weren't mine. I didn't have time to go find my own, so I had to borrow them. One Cyber Dragon Nova, one Cyber Dragon Infinity. Made this a ton of times, and this time, compared to the other regional, didn't have people like Raigeki or Darkhold away early just to pop up its effect to play. This actually ended up being a really good driving force against my opponents, and a lot of them just really could never play around it. And especially if I had that and Totem Bird out, it just became like a really hard thing to fight through. And then one Ignister. I only made this once, and it got Compulse back, to be honest. I saw Luster a good number of times, but just never made this because I just never actually need to make it. So whether or not I keep playing them is up for thought, but I'm probably just going to keep them in there just for a chance I could Synchro Summon into them. I guess I made them once, but he just didn't do anything. For the side deck. My side deck was actually pretty bad. I kind of BS'd some cards because I didn't have other cards to fill in for them, so I just kind of did what I could for it, and it just kind of worked. 2 Kaijus, sided these a lot. Saw them a good number of times as well. They helped out. 2 Retaliating Seas, sided these in a couple times. Never actually got to see them. I guess it's a good card. It really is, especially in the mirror match. But if you don't see it, like I guess there's not much you can really do about it. And It never contributed to my win against the mirror match. It really was just me opening up Maxi and Regeki in the same hand. That's kind of what did it. 2 holding legs. Never sided these because I didn't have. I tried to side. Actually, take it back. I sided these once against the Ninja Heroes, round 2, and never saw it. But I didn't even know he was playing Heroes until after the match, and that's when he like actually showed me what he was playing because I only saw the ninjas of it. So, 1 dark hole. This was actually supposed to be for DDD, but I didn't really know what to actually side in for him since I'm not really familiar with the deck exactly. So I sided in this, but never actually had to face him. And I think I only sided this in 1 time and actually never saw it. So it just kind of ended up being kind of a worthless card, I guess. It's a good card, but just not for this deck, I feel like. 2 system downs. Sided this in against both ABCs in the Cosmo match. And saw it once and it got twin twistered. But, yeah, it was okay. It was under anti-spell fragrance too, so that didn't help. 2 Forbidden Chalice. Never sided these once. I needed something to out like Vanity's Fiend, and I felt like this and Dark Hole was like another way of doing it, but never actually got to see the card all day today. So these just kind of stayed in my side deck the whole time. 3rd MST because I didn't have any Typhoons, unfortunately, but I don't think the Typhoons really mattered. It would have been helped to have them because I did lose a couple games because of like anti-spell fragrance, but at the same time like. Anti-spell fragrance didn't like it didn't end up being the reason why it didn't stop me from like trying to come back against them for like game 3 because one guy like flipped it on me and then I destroyed it and they flipped the second one, but then the second one ended up being useless because I already had enough stuff on board where I could actually just get around the anti-spell fragrance regardless, and he just couldn't do anything after he played it. 2 Royal Decree. Sided these in once. That was against the Ninja Heroes, but never saw it. I guess these could have been. I guess really honestly, if I wanted to, I could have decided Denko Sekkas, but I don't like opening Denko Sekka and not actually having a good hand to go with it. So I wanted to be able to like go first, possibly draw into this, and then set it, and then like if they had anything, just flip this, and then they just can't do anything. And then my 15th card, because I didn't know what else to side, I sided in 1 strike, and I actually did see this a couple times and got to use it. So this card would actually end up being like really, really good in the side. But once I switched to my other build, this is actually going to go in the main along with the warnings, because I'm actually going to switch to the Gaiden Ariande build for the deck. And then we're going to make some more changes with like everything I'm playing right now. But as far as this deck goes, this deck played really well. I was able to counter a lot of stuff that I faced off against. I had to face ABC round 1, Heroes round 2, or Ninja Heroes round 2, Dark Lords round 3, Yangtze Metalfoes round 4, Cosmos round 5, Heroes round 6, Metalfoe Klee Mirror match round 7, and another ABC match round 8. So I faced half meta and the other half rogue, and the deck did what it was supposed to do. If I had to come from behind to win, that's what I did. I was able to find a way to do it. And I don't know necessarily what I'm going to be playing in the near future. I'll still be playing this, but probably trying to test out different builds that's going to like fit the format a little better. Now that DDDs are going to be a thing, and then pretty soon after that, Zodiacs will be a thing. So we're going to kind of just see how those get introduced to the format, how the ban list, if it ever comes out, how that's going to affect gameplay as well. And then we'll see if I'm still playing this or if I find a different deck to play pretty soon. So once again, James Rogers here, part of Team Underdogs with top 16 deck profile.
His first invite to Nats.
Yes, and it's my first invite to Nats. I'm super excited about that. I really am. So we're playing the waiting game to find out when Nats is going to be also. But to do it on my second try also is actually just unbelievable. The Tinley Park regional didn't go near as well, but this just went way better. And to do it on my second try is just absolutely amazing. So yes, I'm still waiting to find out when, just like everybody else. And then once I find out, I'll definitely tell you guys what my thoughts are about it. And as far as what some ideas of stuff I might actually play for our nationals. So, James Rogers, part of Team Underdogs. Peace.